Hi there, and welcome back to Jediism 101, where we are exploring how to become a Jedi in today's real world, or as we all know, as a Jedi realist. To recap, a Jedi realist is an individual who has taken a look at the Jedi from the fictional universe of Star Wars, created by George Lucas, whether that be the movie, the books, the comics, the series, or even the role playing games, and said, hey, this might not be a bad way to live. Let's see if we can put this together and create a Jedi Order in the real world, hence Jedi realism. What we have been working on, or working our way through, has been the vows of the Jedi, and today's vow is the vow of obedience. The vow of obedience reads thusly: A Jedi is obedient. We are obedient to the laws under which they live. Wow, that needs to be rewritten. Sorry. As I go through all of these, I realize there's a lot of grammatical errors now and again. So let me try that again with the correct terminology. A Jedi is obedient. We are obedient to the laws under which we live, the customs under which we are raised, and to the conscience that directs and steers a Jedi's thoughts and actions. Furthermore, a Jedi is to obey their instincts and intuitions, for these are the Jedi's clearest indicators of the will of the Force. So, in breaking this down, as an individual, actually, let's start with the last sentence. The last couple sentences about trusting our instincts and our intuitions. This is basically trust your gut, trust your experience, take a look at that reflex of brain activity that you had in making a decision or an action. These can be the will of the Force. This is your own experience talking, and sometimes it's sometimes it's the quickest path to resolution. Maybe not the best path, but sometimes the quickest. But in other times, it is a way of, like I said, trust your instincts, trust your intuitions. They're there for a reason. But make sure that you back them up. Sometimes your intuition can be wrong, sometimes your instincts can be wrong. Fight or flight response, that little lizard back in the brain that says I should run, I should fight, or I should freeze. Sometimes it can be wrong. And keep in mind, courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is knowing the fear is there and still walking forward. So even though your fight or flight is telling you to fly, it's possible you may need to fight. Now, to the first part of this, we're Jedi or obedient. Okay, we are. Life is kind of a hierarchical society. There are people above us. We have our elders in our family. We have our bosses at work. We have, people in positions of power all around us. We do kind of have to listen what they tell us. Now, you shouldn't blindly listen. Blind obedience is a path to many a screw up. I'm going to quote Jean-Luc Picard from Star Trek Next Generation here. Yes, I'm doing a crossover between Star Trek and Star Wars, and I'm not on fire, so great. But to paraphrase, the number of mistakes that have been made because a soldier was just following orders can be there's a lot of recorded history of that, and many of life's tragedies and societal tragedies have happened just because we're following orders. So, in this light, when it comes to the law, I have always been more of a spirit of the law versus the letter of the law. Now, laws are written for a good reason, but there's a spirit behind it. And sometimes, the law has nuance. The law is worded very specifically for good reasons, and so interpretation shouldn't happen. But if we've watched enough cop shows and lawyer shows, come on, I grew up on Law and Order and LA Law and all this kind of stuff. I've seen how law can be bent in a certain way when needed. And this is both by the good side and the bad side. So so there's nuance to this. So spirit of the law. Is stealing wrong? Yes, stealing is wrong. Is stealing bread so I can feed my starving family wrong? Ooh. Okay, stealing is wrong, but feeding my hungry child is right. Do I get full punishment? Do I get let off with a warning? I think that really depends on who you are as a person. I think it depends on the person who's administering the law or the process of the law, to see what's going on there. You know, the law needs to be taken into account. Always does. So we follow it. But keep in mind, there's a spirit of it versus the letter of it. You need to figure out which side you want to be on that. Now that's laws. Then we have customs. Well, how are you raised? The laws that's just how you work within polite society. Your morals, your moral compass. Hey, your instincts. Now we got the second part. Where we're thinking with our instincts and our intuitions, and those are shaped by the customs that we grew up with. So the vow of obedience is both straightforward and a little more nuanced than we like to think. So the main thing is follow your instincts, follow your heart, follow right. Follow what is right, follow what is good, follow what is kind, follow what is helpful. Now, that being said, this does not mean the ends justify the means. If I have an overall good outcome, but I took a very chaotic path to get there, no, that's a path to the dark side. Anytime you have to justify a wrong because it comes out right in the end, that's wrong. It's just the wrong way of doing it. Right way and the wrong way. The Jedi way. So I want you guys to think about how you take a look at how you are obedient in society. The little things, don't litter. Don't smoke inside a building. Don't change lanes without your blinker. Little laws like that. Think of bigger things. What is my custom? Do I have the custom where I do not eat the flesh of a pig? Or the fermentation of grape or wheat. I can't have it. I can't drink it. It's just a thing. I can't do it. It's my societal norm. That's a custom. That's a it won't kill you to do so, but it will break a custom, and then you have to atone for it. And intonation is a way different subject here, and that's something that you personally have to fight for in your own morality. So, I want to leave you with that thought. Take a think on how obedient you are. Take a think of what you're obedient to. Yeah, feel free. Give me a comment. Give me an example. I'd love to hear it. This is all very personal. Keep in mind, the vows are there for a guideline, but you need to interpret it how you want it. I'm giving you my interpretation. Yours could be quite different. All right, guys. I think that's enough thought for today. Remember to drink more water, eat clean food, get some activity, get some fresh air. Make sure that you are kind to animals, the environment, and the people that you meet every day, because they're fighting battles that you know nothing about, and you don't need to be part of the problem. And as always, make sure that you are kind to yourself. If anybody deserves it, you do. All right, folks, you have a good one, and may the Force be with you.